Hey, what's up everybody, I'm Charlie, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make my delicious New Orleans Crawfish Bisque. This recipe is more of a modern recipe. There's quite a bit of work and preparation involved, but it is well worth it. It serves up to 10 or more people, it's delicious, and it's one of New Orleans' most popular dishes. So let's get started. Here is all what you will need to make your New Orleans Crawfish Bisque. You will need 4 pounds of boiled Louisiana crawfish, and this is about 100 individual medium to small size crawfish. And along with that, you will need 2 pounds of authentic Louisiana crawfish tails, all-purpose flour, plain breadcrumbs, canola oil, unsalted butter, and for your seasonings you will need some salt, Tony Chachere's Creole seasoning. Now if you don't have this, you can use the Zatarain's Creole seasoning or the Slap Your Mama Creole seasoning. You will also need some Chef Paul Prud'homme's Seafood Magic, cayenne pepper, and for your additional seasonings you will need 2 yellow onions, 4 stalks of celery, 2 bell peppers, garlic, fresh thyme, and bay leaves. And for your next ingredient, this is optional, you will need 6 ounces of Hunt's tomato paste, no salt added. And for your tools, you will need an 11 by 17 inch baking pan, a disposable piping bag, and this next tool is optional, a food processor. Chop 1 yellow onion and a half of a yellow onion. Rinse your celery off before you chop it. Chop 4 stalks of celery. Make sure you remove the core out of the center of your bell pepper before you chop it. Chop 1 bell pepper and a half of a bell pepper. Here I have 5 cloves of garlic. We're going to chop that up until it's minced. Here I have some fresh thyme. We're going to start by removing the leaves off the stem of the thyme. Bunch all the leaves together. And we're going to chop the thyme up until it resembles coarse crumbs. Now this is 1 tablespoon of thyme that I have here. Here I have 1 crawfish. Now we're going to start by separating the tail from the head of the crawfish. Now we're going to take the crawfish tail and we're going to place that into one bowl, and we're going to take the crawfish head and place that into a separate bowl. And this is how it looks when we're done. As you can see, we separated the crawfish heads from the crawfish tails, and this is all 4 pounds of crawfish. Peel the shell off of the crawfish tail. Now you're going to take all the shells from the crawfish tail and you're going to place that into a bowl. Now here we have the crawfish tail, and we're just going to devein that by pulling the black string out. And as simple as that. And you're going to take the crawfish tail and place that into a separate bowl. Here we have a crawfish head. Insert thumb into the crawfish head. Pull the legs outward without causing damage to the shell of the crawfish head. And you want to make sure that the crawfish legs are separated from the shell of the crawfish head. Now you're going to take your crawfish legs and you're going to place them into a bowl, and you're going to take your crawfish head shells and place them into a separate bowl. Here we have the lower body cavity of the crawfish head. Normally there's the organs right in the middle here. You're going to take a butter knife and you're just going to scrape that out. And you can also dip this in some water. Here we have the crawfish head shell. To clean it out, you're going to take a butter knife and you're going to scrape against the insides of the crawfish head shell. Once done, you're going to dip each crawfish head shell into some water. And you're going to also do the same for the lower body cavity of the crawfish. And this is how it looks when we're done. Now in this bowl here we have our crawfish body cavities / crawfish legs. We're going to take that and make a stock with that. And here we have our crawfish tail shells. We're going to take and make a stock with this as well. And over here in this bowl we have our crawfish head shells, which we've cleaned. And here we have our crawfish tails. Now this is 3/4 of a pound of crawfish tails. Now you're going to place this into your refrigerator. Preheat your fire to medium-high heat. Now let's make the crawfish stock. In a large pot, add 5 quarts of water. Let's add some seasoning. Add 2 teaspoons of Tony Chachere's grill seasoning and 2 teaspoons of Chef Paul Prud'homme's Seafood Magic. Give this a quick stir. Let this come to a simmer. Our mixture is at a simmer now. Add your crawfish body cavities / crawfish legs and add your crawfish tail shells. Give that a quick stir. Cover with lid. Let simmer for 1 hour. It's been about an hour now, and our crawfish stock is now done. Turn your fire off. Drain your crawfish stock into a strainer with a large bowl underneath it. You can discard your crawfish body cavities, legs, and crawfish tail shells. And there we have it, crawfish stock made from scratch. Taste test your crawfish stock to see if it's at your desired taste. Preheat your fire to medium-high heat. Now let's get started with our roux. We're using a wooden spatula, of course. Add 2/3 cup of canola oil. Let the oil get hot for 2 minutes. Add 2/3 cup of flour. Stir all your ingredients together. You're going to continue to stir this for 8 minutes or until the roux reaches a brown color. It's been about 8 minutes now and our roux has reached a brown color. Then turn your fire off. You're going to continue to stir this until the roux thins out. Our roux has thinned out. Now you're going to set this aside and let the roux cool completely. In a food processor, add 3/4 of a pound of crawfish tails. Now these are the same crawfish tails that we got from our boiled Louisiana crawfish. And to that we're going to add 1 pound of the Louisiana crawfish tails. Blend all your ingredients for 1 minute. Now if you don't have this, you can use a knife to chop up your crawfish tails. And this is how it looks when we're done. As you can see, that's nice and grounded. Looks good. Preheat your fire to medium-high heat. Now let's make the crawfish stuffing. In a large saucepan, add 4 tablespoons of unsalted butter. Spread the butter along the bottom of the pan. Let the butter melt. Now let's add some seasoning. Add 1 cup of chopped yellow onion, 2/3 cup of chopped celery, 2/3 cup of chopped green bell pepper, and 1 tablespoon of chopped garlic. Stir all your ingredients together. Let this saute for 8 minutes. It's been about 8 minutes now. Add your grounded crawfish tails. Stir all your ingredients together. Add 1.5 cups of crawfish stock and 1/3 cup of plain breadcrumbs. Stir all your ingredients together. Let's add some seasoning. Add 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of Tony Chachere's Grill Seasoning, 1 teaspoon of Chef Papadome's Seafood Magic, and a 1/2 teaspoon of thyme. Stir all your ingredients together. Turn your fire off. And our crawfish stuffing is now done. Let this cool completely. I added the piping bag into a large cup. Add the crawfish stuffing into the piping bag. And this is how it looks when we're done. Here we have our pastry bag filled with crawfish stuffing, and here we have our crawfish head shell. We're going to fill the crawfish head shell with the crawfish stuffing. Now you can fill up to 110 of these crawfish head shells with the stuffing. And this is how it looks when we're done. Now if you have any crawfish stuffing left over, you're going to take some plain breadcrumbs and place it into your hand. And you're going to pipe a small amount of the crawfish stuffing. And you're going to roll that into a ball. And this is how it looks when we're done. Butter the bottom of your baking pan. Preheat your oven to 325 degrees. Take your stuffed crawfish heads and place them into your baking pan. Now, as you can see in the back here, we have our crawfish stuffing balls. We have 13 of those. Now it's ready to be baked. Place into a preheated 325 degree oven. Bake for 30 minutes. Remove your stuffed crawfish heads and your crawfish stuffing balls out of the oven after baking on 325 degrees for 30 minutes. You're going to let this cool completely or until you make your bisque. So let's get started with that. Preheat your fire to medium-high heat. In a large pot, add 4 tablespoons of unsalted butter. Spread the butter along the bottom of the pan. Let the butter melt. Now let's add some seasoning. Add 1 cup of chopped yellow onion, 2/3 cup of chopped celery, 2/3 cup of chopped green bell pepper, and 1 tablespoon of chopped garlic. Stir all your ingredients together. Let this saute for 8 minutes. Now here I have my roux. Now as you can see, that's pretty thick. That's because I've removed some of the oil from it. I'm going to add this into the pot. Stir all your ingredients together. Add 3 quarts of crawfish stock. Give this a quick stir. Let this come to a simmer. Taste your crawfish stock to see if it's at your desired taste. If not, you can add more seasoning. Add 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of Tony Chachere's Creole seasoning, 1 teaspoon of Chef Papadome's Seafood Magic, 2 teaspoons of cayenne pepper, 1 teaspoon of fresh thyme, 3 bay leaves, and 5 tablespoons of tomato paste. Now remember, the tomato paste is optional. Stir all your ingredients together. Cover with lid. Let simmer for 1 hour and 10 minutes. It's been about an hour and 10 minutes now. Gonna give that a quick stir. Add your 1 pound of Louisiana crawfish tails. Stir all your ingredients together. You're going to let this come to a simmer first. Then you're going to let it simmer for 3 minutes. After 3 minutes, turn your fire off. Add your stuffed crawfish heads. Give that a quick stir. Add your crawfish stuffing balls in there as well. Give that a quick stir. And your crawfish bisque is now done. Quick tips: your crawfish bisque will thicken as it cools. For best results, let come to room temperature and place into your refrigerator overnight. That way the flavors can settle and increase. Also, the stuffing in the crawfish heads and the crawfish stuffing balls can absorb all of the flavors. Here is the final presentation. And there you have it, crawfish bisque. If you like my channel, you can subscribe to it. You can also check out this recipe along with all of my other recipes, as well as contact me or donate to the channel. Visit www.charliethecookandrews.com. You can also like, follow, or contact me on Facebook at www.facebook.com/charliethecookandrews. Stay tuned as Charlie's Taste Test is coming up next. Now it's time for Charlie's Taste Test. Oh man, look at this. Crawfish bisque. Woo! You could taste that crawfish along with all the seasonings that we added. I mean, very delicious, and it has a nice spiciness to it. Love it. Go ahead and try one of these crawfish heads. Try to get the stuffing out there the best way I can. The stuffing is nice, well seasoned. Then again, you have that flavor from the crawfish stock that we added. And not only that, by the crawfish bisque sitting overnight, the crawfish stuffing literally soaked into all that crawfish stock and all those seasonings that we added. I mean, it is so good. Delicious. I'm telling y'all. Try the recipe. I know it's a lot of hard work and preparation involved, but it's well worth it. So, give the recipe a try. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Crawfish bisque, made by a New Orleans native. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Until next time, take care and I hope you all have a blessed day. Peace.